The Daily Show's Jon Stewart absolutely demolished politicians for their blatant corruption during a segment about disgraced New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. You know, the guy who got caught with gold bars stuffed into the suit pockets in his closet, that guy. Now, jury selection is currently underway at Menendez's trial in New York. He's facing some serious charges, including bribery, extortion, fraud, the obstruction of justice, along with acting as a foreign agent of Egypt without registering as one. He's being tried with two New Jersey businessmen, Fred Davies and Wael Hanna, who are also accused of participating in a bribery conspiracy that lasted nearly 5 years. And by the way, this is a completely separate case from other corruption charges that Menendez faced years ago, I believe in 2015. So he was acquitted of those charges. He got real lucky in that case, but you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar again, you might not be so lucky this time around. Now, Jon Stewart decided to ruthlessly mock Menendez, a Democrat, which was easy given how absurd some of the evidence of his crimes have been.
Now, as part of this investigation, special agents with the FBI executed search warrants on the residence and safe deposit box of Senator Menendez and Nadine Menendez in New Jersey. When they got there, they discovered approximately $500,000 of cash stuffed into envelopes and closets. Some of the cash was stuffed in the senator's jacket pockets. Some of the envelopes of cash contained Davies' fingerprints or Davies' DNA. That's not all. Agents also discovered a lot of gold that was provided by Davies and Hanna. And the FBI, of course, found the Mercedes-Benz that Uribe had provided them.
So at the very end there, he was referring to Jose Uribe, who was another businessman who admitted that he gave gave Nadine Menendez, Representative Menendez's wife, a $60,000 Mercedes-Benz convertible in return for influencing a United States senator to stop a criminal investigation. So Senator Menendez for stopping an investigation. So that is what Jon Stewart wanted to talk about in his segment. And as he points out, he didn't really have to do any of this at all. Corruption is kind of baked into our political system. You really have to go above and beyond to be even more corrupt than our law allows you to be. So in his segment, he said, "You, sir, are an elected official in America's most respected legislative body. It's like a license to print money. You don't need to break the law so cartoonishly when the legal corruption in the Senate is so effing lucrative," which is entirely true. By the way, the legalized bribery is one thing. There's also the allowance to trade individual stocks based on insider information, which members of Congress do all the time.
All the time. Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
They looked it up that like Nancy Pelosi's husband, if you like check his record in the stock market, he's outperforming JP Morgan Chase,
yes.
Goldman Sachs, like he's just so good at it. He just studies it and he's just so good at it on his own. He's outperforming the richest investment bankers in the world.
That's true. And by the way, Stewart, to his credit, gets into that as well. But first, one more statement in regard to Menendez. He says, Senator Menendez, I have to ask, with all due respect, how dumb is you? Promising favors to foreign entities for a little chump change on the side. It's Bush League when, as a US Senator, you can enrich yourself in so many different, let's call them legal ways. For instance, the stock market.
Yep.
So let's get to the stock market, because this is where he also attacked people like Nancy Pelosi, who definitely deserve to be attacked for the insider trading that's been going on, to make his point that Menendez could have just done insider trading like normal politicians. He cited a study that found the average US senator actually outperforms the stock market by a whopping 12 points. How do they do it? Well, the secret is a shrewd understanding of the intricate interconnectivity of global markets. I'm kidding. They have inside information. Okay. Like California Congressman Alan Lowenthal, whose wife sold shares of Boeing in 2020 one day, just one day before the House committee he serves on released a damning report on the Boeing 737. It's so obvious. Like there's no time between like the briefings or the classified reports and then when they do the sale or the trading. And then Stewart took aim at lawmakers like Nancy Pelosi, who consistently beat the S&P 500 and shockingly doesn't think the stock trading should be banned in Congress. Take a look at that.
Members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
No, I don't know to this second one. We have a responsibility to report. This is a free market and people, we're a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
I didn't know that insider trading was part of a free market economy, but according to Nancy Pelosi, it is. Stewart responded to that comment by saying, but here's the thing, in a free market, everyone has access to the same information. So unless you're going to put all of us on the committees, I don't get it. Now you might be wondering to yourself, how does Congress get away with all of this? Well, it may be because Congress is regulated by, let me check my notes, Congress. And it's Congress that has refused to even hold a vote on the bills that have been proposed to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. And finally, he joked, at every turn, our Congress and our courts have been given a choice. Be less corrupt or redefine what constitutes corruption and get on with your bad selves. And we know which choice they made.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's the stock trading, and your listeners are smart enough to know about the quote unquote revolving door, where you go work for in the public sector, AKA, and then right afterwards, after having worked with these people, allegedly regulating these people, allegedly being adversarial to these people, you leave your public sector job and go work for some firm, go sit. Or if you're older and you've been doing the corruption for a long time, you don't even gotta work. We'll just put you on a board, we'll put you on a committee, we'll pay you hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to do so. And again, my favorite is Jared Kushner, who wasn't an elected official, but obviously was deeply involved with the Saudis. Soon as he's out of that job, he got $2 billion, guys. And again, and Timothy Geithner, y'all go look up Timothy Geithner, Obama's financial guy, the Secretary of the Treasury, excuse me. As soon as he left his job in the Obama administration, JP Morgan Chase gave him something like $600 million to start a fund. Mind you, he was intimately involved in how we regulated these folks afterwards, the checks we cut for those folks afterwards, and by all accounts, we were way too freaking generous to the banks.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, look what happened to the housing market.
Yeah.
Look what happened to the housing market. The Fed's policy made it far easier for the haves to take advantage of the have-nots who were totally screwed in that housing market crash.
Of course.
They had their houses foreclosed on, and then you have, the Fed's policy allow for those who kind of caused the mess to begin with to buy up those homes.
Of course.
It's disgusting. The Obama administration's horrible response to that economic collapse got us to where we are today.
100%. Like it's hard to divorce the goodwill, the just enthusiasm for Obama's candidacy, his campaign, his ultimate election, and the results that just bore no fruit for anybody who wasn't already rich as hell, with people's dissatisfaction and discontent with so many of our institutions, including the government. Like, people got really worked up about Obama.
Of course.
People really believed that this guy was gonna deliver something for them, and the only people that he delivered for, were these people that effectively wrecked everybody's lives in the first place. And again, like, Geithner is my favorite one because it was literally no time at all. Like, he started a fund and JP Morgan Chase was like, yo, we have hundreds of millions of dollars for you, brother. Come on down. You did your job while you worked for Obama.
Yeah, it's stories like that help me understand why people do want to burn our institutions down, right? You imagine the pain and suffering so many Americans experienced during that economic collapse, and to see those who caused it almost get rewarded at the end of the day,
Yeah.
And they're doing better than ever with their, personal financial
I mean, that's proof of the
situation.
strong economy according to Joe Biden, so.
Don't get me started. All right. Friendly Shark writes in again, by the way, and says, Waz, I actually agree with you. I don't think it should be over-policed. I just mean that historically things like that can happen when there's no attention paid to racial dynamics.
Yeah, so to his point, when they did the New Deal, in order to get the votes from the Southern Dixiecrats, they did have to agree that they'd be allowed to institutionalize a lot of the benefits and keep a lot of black people out, particularly in the South. There were other places in America, you guys can go read this. My man Paul Prescott wrote about it in Jacobin, a bunch where like black people did actually benefit, but to get the deal through, yeah, Dixiecrats kept black people out of that deal.
Didn't Adolph Reed's son, Teray Reed, write a book about this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I forget the title of the book, but I highly recommend it, so check it out. But you're right to mention some of the flaws of the New Deal.
Absolutely.
But we do live in a new time, and I don't think
it's just hard to just do.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to have like a weird like provision in an economic legislation that's going to exclude black people. Like it's just not going to fly today.
It's tougher.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.